All right, Jags fans, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's because it happened during a bye week. I don't know if it's because it's not a glamour position. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because he looks like he's not super athletic. I honestly don't know. But the Jacksonville Jaguars traded for Ezra Cleveland, and nobody's really talking about it. And you might be talking about it down in Jacksonville, but nobody's talking this move. And I have a reason why. But I also want to talk about why this is such a good move for the Jags. There is salary cap implications and down the line moves that make this a big time deal. So, what am I talking about? Of course, I'm talking about the trade 6 days ago at the trade deadline for Minnesota Vikings guard Ezra Cleveland and how he impacts the depth chart. They traded offensive guard traded for Ezra Cleveland from the Vikings. But here's the telling part of it, and this is why nobody's talking about it. Here's what Doug Peterson's response was to the trade, and then I'm going to tell you why there's some blinders on this. It's hidden a little bit. Hey, before I do that, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel if you love Jacksonville content. We know it can be hard to find on the internet. We are a channel that loves to talk about the teams the national media doesn't really talk about. We find the Jags in that. We're Lions fans. You see the lion in the background there. We have Sports Talk Detroit, which is our main channel, but we love this as well. So here's what Doug Peterson said immediately after, not immediately after, but on the Pat McAfee show. He said, obviously getting a good player to come here and help us. And we've already got a good offensive line, and Ezra can come in and give us some really good depth. Pause, please. We'll go back to this quote. Isn't that the telling thing? Like, isn't that the telling sentence? Or whatever you want to say? He can give us some really good depth. That's why nobody's talking about this. This is what good teams do. They just made a trade this year to get better next year. They gave up a 6th round pick for this guy. And part of it's because he's a starting caliber guard, but not a high caliber starting guard yet. All right. But he's on the last year of his contract. So we're going to need to look at what this means. But first, let's finish listening to what Peterson had to say. He said it's just a matter of getting him caught up and getting him in the room with a really good offensive line. Guys like Brandon Scherf, he's the leader in there, and Luke Fortner. And you look at these guys, Cam Robinson, Walker Little, these guys are just busting their tail every week. So getting a guy like Ezra, his caliber, we got a starting type guard, really solidifies our offensive line and makes us better. That is true. All right. He then talked to the media on Monday, okay, just 2 days ago. And he said this, I want to be as clear as I can. Walker Little is the left guard. Apparently, PFF wasn't listening because PFF is listing Ezra Cleveland as the starting left guard. He's not. So I need to go in here and I'm going to share some things with you. So just bear with me because I'm sharing screens like crazy. First, let's look at Ezra Cleveland. He is in the final year of his rookie contract. Okay. He is making $1.5 million this year, or 1.6. That's it. He is not on contract after next year. He's not. What about Walker Little? All right. What about Walker Little? Let's go ahead and see what's going on with Walker Little. This isn't where the answer is, folks. I'm just giving you the clue right now. He still has another year left on his rookie contract. He also have a quarterback on his. Anyways, this is not where anything gets fixed. Here is why the trade was made. If you look at the contract of Brandon Scherf, he this year is making $10 million cap hit. His dead cap would be $24 million. All right. There's a restructure, all that kind of stuff. I want you to look at his contract next year when he's 33 years old. He will be making, against the cap, $24 million. $24 million right here. If you release him, he has a dead cap of $15 million. It says right here, potential out 2024, 2-year, blah, 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 $15 million dead cap. So the idea here is that you get a guy, all right? You get a guy like Ezra Cleveland, who you can pay probably $4, $5, $6, $7 million as a guard. You move on from a guy who's been there for a while and Scherf. Okay. You have two young starting caliber guards to continue to protect your quarterback. You sign Ezra Cleveland to a 3, 4, 5 year deal that stays a lot cheaper over the long run, and your salary cap doesn't take a big hit. All right. It doesn't take the big hit that you might assume it would. That is why they're doing this. That is the reason. They most likely need to get out of Brandon Scherf's contract because, quite frankly, he's not good enough for that big of a contract at the position he plays. You should not be paying $24 million. And when he signed that contract, I'm going to tell you right now, the thought process was almost never going to be, yep, we'll pay him for that third year. Nope, we're going to pay him for year one. We're going to pay him for year two. And then we're going to move on from that. And that's okay. And by the way, graded out on PFF, Scherf, 20th rated guard. Ezra Cleveland, 8th. He is a good football player. He will be good. And I'm telling you right now, this move is a move for the future. Next year, your starting guards will be Cleveland and they will be Little. And one of them will be on the right side. One of them will be on the left side. So that's why I don't think anybody's talking about this trade, because it's just a depth piece. You just traded for a starter next year. You just traded for your starting caliber guard for the next 5 years for a 6th round pick. That's a savvy move. And you're not going to have to pay him a ton because he's not a guy who's going to be worth a ton of money. Now let's just hope that they can sign him to an extension and get him under contract for next year. That's what this is all hinging on. And hopefully he likes being part of what they got going on in Jacksonville. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to be part of that? All right. They're 6-2. They have a stud quarterback. They have talent everywhere. They already have a good offensive line. It's in sunny Florida. Okay. It's a lot nicer than Minnesota in the winter. I promise you that much. And so, yeah, I would be there. So hopefully you like this content. If you did, hey, comment, let me know what your thoughts are on this trade. I know the trade was made a while ago, but we just got more information on what Ezra Cleveland's role is going to be. So I wanted to talk about it. And I like making Jags videos. It's really that simple. I really like them. All right. Trevor Lawrence is my fantasy quarterback and Evan Ingram is my fantasy tight end. So I like talking about Jags, and that's the way it is. Sorry, I got weird there. Like, subscribe, and comment. Why not? Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.